growing up playing video games, you start noticing this ongoing pattern being abused quite a lot in the industry, which is game developers simply copying the base idea of a certain popular video game and creating their own different version of it. This strategy, while being very shameless and scummy without a doubt, has still somewhat proved itself to be very much worthwhile and successful throughout the years, as all it truly did at the end of the day was grab something that was already known to be greatly successful and in some rare case scenarios made it somehow even better. Tekken was a straight up ripoff of the Virtua Fighter franchise, Genshin Impact completely stole ideas and the art style of Breath of the Wild, and Palworld made a game so good it riled Nintendo angry enough to actually go out of their way to try suing them. It's been proven time and time again that copying already existing game concepts can lead into other great games, which is confusing since something I personally never really understood was the sheer hatred and distaste towards this very subject from the gaming community. For some reason, it's been somewhat normalized to make fun of new upcoming games for being too similar to titles that already exist, which I find quite ironic because they're probably the same people who dick ride anything that comes out of From Software as they continue to play the endless supply of regurgitated Souls-like games non-stop. Anyways, my point is, I think we should appreciate and welcome more game developers to straight up steal and copy from one another, as it not only benefits the game community by providing us with more games to play, but also adds an extra layer of choice and more variety of the specific game genres we already thrive in. League of Legends and Dota 2, both games that I hold very close and dear to my heart, as well as the Garbage Disposal, are two games that share a lot of similarities when it comes down to the core fundamentals and integrity of the MOBA genre. But as time goes on, they've only but grown farther and farther apart, cementing themselves as an individually unique experience. League becoming the much faster paced, casual, and dumbed down version of the original, whereas Dota suited more towards players who enjoy the hardcore, slower pace and strategic aspects of the game. The amount of posts I see online and even some personal friends of mine that have stated their interest of moving from one game to the other is uncountable, as both games offer very different experiences despite being very much the same in more ways than one. Similar things can also be said about yet another set example from both these respective companies, Valorant and Counter-Strike. 2. I keep forgetting to say 2. Do people even call it that? Valorant and Counter-Strike are even more so similar to each other than League and Dota is in the aspect of being a team-based tactical shooter, sharing a lot of the same elements and in-game mechanics such as counter-strafing, recoil control, and utility usage. Yet even despite their similarities, have built up very different communities with very distinct tastes. Valorant being more catered towards femboys and e-girls who actually want to play the game.
Stop it.
And Counter-Strike catering more so towards underage gambling addicts. These are some of the many reasons why I think game copying is genuinely a good thing. Not just for the players to be able to find their communities and homes, but also for the gaming industry to grow exponentially. But on top of all that, my absolute favorite part about game copying is when game developers blatantly rip off of existing games of companies who genuinely deserve it, since the developers have ultimately just given up on not only their community, but also on themselves. I'm of course talking about Marvel Rivals and Overwatch. Two. God damn it. I keep forgetting. Bro, why do they keep doing this? It doesn't work. I think it's safe to say that Blizzard has just been constantly getting away with it for far too long, with their beloved game Overwatch being on top of the team-based hero shooter category for a very, very long time. Multiple game titles have tried time and time again attempting to dethrone it, but to no avail. Despite Blizzard's controversial decision-making and the massive uproars of their unhappy community, Overwatch has somehow managed to stay on top, with not really any sort of competition in their sights. Until one day. Marvel Rivals is a game I never thought I'd get myself into, but I can safely say that now that I've tried it, I've been grinding this game non-stop and I can't stop playing it. Please God help me. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say none of us really expected this game to take off this much, gaining over 20 million registered users in just the first week with around 350,000 concurrent players just on Steam alone. I mean, it's got it all. Satisfying combat, great visuals, brain-dead characters for when you suck at aiming, and dare I say it, this makes you feel like you're playing Overwatch in the good old days all over again. And who would have thought that all it took was any other game company other than the creators of Overwatch to make that happen. And even the one thing Overwatch is especially known for, Marvel Rivals hits right back at them. I mean, just look at Psylocke, man, goddamn! Call me crazy, but I honestly think game copies are not only great, but are in fact somewhat needed. Because without them, game developers like Blizzard are able to get away with so much bullshit, abusing their communities with lies to upcoming updates, terrible game changes, and ridiculously overpriced cosmetics. Developers should always strive to make their games as fun as possible no matter what, but when you get too comfortable, sometimes all you need is a little bit of a wake-up call. Marvel Rivals didn't just make a good copy of Overwatch, They made sure to show Blizzard what Overwatch could have been if you actually tried.